Hello and welcome to another episode of the Construction Record Express. I'm your host, Warren Frey, digital media editor, and with me I have...
Journal of Commerce staff writer Russell Hixson.
And it might be spring break, but we are still busy. We're not in school for one thing. So Russell, why don't you tell us what you got going on?
Yeah, I'm not on a beach somewhere sipping a margarita. This is not spring break for me. And there's, like always, a ton of news happening in Western Canada. I had an interesting story that we just, dear listener, you already have seen it, but as of recording this, it's just popped up on our website. And it's about payment. And I know that that's an issue that we've written about a lot, and it's often talked about in the construction industry, is the flow of payment from the top to the bottom. And it didn't seem to happen for a project in Quesnel, BC. There's a contractor that I spoke with, and there was a public works facility. I think it was around $13 million. And it's been months since it was completed. And there's a group of subcontractors that have not been paid by the GC. And they're very upset. And one of them talked to me, and he's just like, I want to, I had to pay out of, my other jobs. I had to pay my guys. I had to pay my bills. And he's like, I still haven't been paid. And he's like, I'm frustrated and I'm sick and tired of it. And he went public with it, which is pretty rare, because he's probably burning some bridges. And, there's people that probably aren't happy that he went public and, did this. So that's an interesting story, and it highlights an ongoing issue in the industry, which is payment. Who gets paid? When do they get paid?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, check it out. Next up, I wrote a story. I'm actually writing it. I'm looking at my computer screen and I'm writing it right now. But by the time this comes out, it'll probably be published. I talked to the Vancouver Coastal Health, which is a health authority in BC in Vancouver, and just about how they design and build care homes. And it's totally changing because they've found a few years back that their model just does not create a good quality of life for seniors who need long-term care. It was built on like the acute care hospital model. So a lot of these care homes look like hospital wings, hospital wards, where there's like a lot of shared space. You eat in kind of like a dining hall with 50 other people. You share a room with 3 or 4 other people. When you have to bathe, you have to go to like this communal bathing area and get ready and march through the whole place. And it just lacked privacy. It lacked a bit of dignity, and it just didn't feel very home-like. And so they've adopted this thing called the neighborhood model. So each floor is a neighborhood that's split into homes where people who need like similar levels of care can share, and they have like a shared dining area, like 14 to 16 people. And they have like a little home together, and it's a lot more home-like, and everybody has their own bathroom and shower. So you have a bit more privacy, and meals are brought to you through like a tray service. So you don't have to go to like a dining hall. You can like eat together kind of like a little household. And they found that is just a much better quality of life. So going forward, that's how they're going to be designing all their new care homes and renovating them. So yeah, it's pretty interesting.
It also sounds like for COVID and whatever else might come down the pipe.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, because
this is a better model, yeah.
But what they found was when they were designing the model and implementing it a few years back, they didn't, I'm sure that they thought about, infection, but they've now found after the fact that neighborhood model care homes have performed have been some of the best performing in terms of infection control, because you have these contained homes where people don't really need to travel anywhere in the facility. They can kind of take care of all their needs there. And so you have much less infection spread. And she even used the person I talked to, Sarah Jordan at Vancouver Coastal Health, said specifically there was an example where they were able to contain it to one like care home, one like a home in a neighborhood, and it wasn't able to spread anywhere else. And so, it's saved lives. Like this model has literally saved people's lives already.
That's good. That's good.
So that's kind of interesting. Oh, what else? Oh man. Compulsory trades. That is happening now. Not happening, but that's something that's in the news again. I believe the building trades, the unions have come out with a new survey that shows some support for compulsory trades. And my understanding is that this is a promise of Premier John Horgan's, is to implement compulsory trades during his term as premier. So it is definitely something that, I'm going to be following up and chatting with a few more people about the survey. And then I'm probably going to add like some background and just see where we're at in compulsory trades. I mean, maybe it's going to be happening soon. I'm not sure. I haven't been super keeping up to date with it, but it's definitely something that there's going to be more news on. I expect if John Horgan keeps his promise to do that. So we'll see what happens with that. And I believe BC is the only province that doesn't have some form of compulsory trades.
Great. And just to jump ahead a week, we've got the Canadian Construction Association happening next week. So stay tuned next week, and we'll have plenty of coverage from the CCA, which this time will be directly from our own living rooms because it's all virtual.
Yeah, I'll be covering, I think, at least 2 days of the conference.
And I was just thinking about this is the first time in years that I'm, well, A, not covering it really, and B, not going somewhere to cover it. So it's even though we've done virtual conventions or virtual conferences for, I guess, a year now, it still seems a little weird that this one is virtual, even though it makes complete sense that it should be.
Yes. Yeah. It is a little strange. I mean, we've been all over. We've been to San Antonio. You went to, where was it?
Orleans.
Yep.
Mexico.
Yeah.
Banff, exotic Banff. Don't forget
Exotic
that.
Banff. Yeah. It's been all over the place.
And they didn't have one last year because it was right when COVID.
I guess it happened so quick. They didn't have enough.
I mean, that was the right choice, honestly.
Of course.
And then this year they've had time to build up and do a virtual conference, and they had time to learn from other people too. So we'll see how that all pans out in a week or so.
Yeah.
Right. And with that, we will bid you adieu, but stay tuned Friday for another exciting crosspod with Vince Versace and the hosts of Bridging the Gap podcast. And you can find us on Apple Music, on Amazon Music, and on Spotify. And we'll have in the show notes, we'll have links to all those services. So until next time, toodaloo, everyone.
Take it easy, guys.